What's up? What's up? What's up? I know,
How you
I feel
doing,
like
sir?
some of you probably just saw me because I was on another podcast doing an interview. I was with BJ Kicks. But if you didn't, hello, how are you? This is another episode of a Stoked Podcast, episode 18. Woof, buddy, we're almost at 20, dude.
Almost
We're
at 20.
almost at 20. That's big for me. But I am Javon Stokes. I am owner of Visually Stoked Media. I am writer, artist of Heat and Strong. And to my right, left, whatever, I do this every week. I should have it by now. Is Jamari Stokes.
How you doing, sir?
What's good, man? What's good?
I actually got some comics while I was over the weekend. I went to a convention, so
Oh,
it was fun.
must be nice.
Making my way through Tuskegee Airs Volume 1 right now.
Nice. So before we bring in our guest, and I don't want to hold him too long, hold him out too long, because I know he's hungry because it's dinner time for him. I have to, and I know I just did it, but I have to talk about my Kickstarter campaign for Strong. 19 days left, and we are 50+ % of the way funded. We got great stuff, y'all. I'm telling you, we got t-shirts. Boom, you can get one or two of these t-shirts, Strong t-shirts, brand new design Heat t-shirt. You get the book. You can get prints. You can get a lot of it. There's a lot of great stuff. So please go to the Kickstarter link below. I'm going to even put it in the chat so everybody can see it. Go there. Please pledge. Don't wait. Let's get us over the goal. Let's blow the $2,500 goal out the water. Now that I have done that, I told our guest that I didn't do his flowery introduction. I didn't write it down, so I'm gonna freestyle. Our next guest, to me, is one of the funniest podcasting dudes out. He has a very distinctive, almost deadpan humor, and it kills me every time listening to him and Danny talk on Tales from the Fourth. Four Tales podcast, excuse me. He is a writer and artist. He's the owner of Taurus Comics. He's a writer and artist for the previous StarCore Kickstarter comic book. And he is genuinely a good dude. Every time I've talked to him, it's like I've known him for a very long time. So please give a Stoked Podcast round of applause for the impeccable Kyrun Silva.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
What's good, man? Do I bring you in? Did I bring you in well? Did I do okay?
That was good. I feel loved. I feel wanted. So I'm ready to go.
Awesome. That's what we're about here. We're all about the love. We're all about the love. So how are you, man? How are you?
I'm hot. It's like 95 degrees today. It's second day of June. I'm tired because I've been working on comics all day and dealing with my kids because they're out of school. And I'm hungry, like you said, because it's dinner time. But you were like, "Hey, Kyrun, I want you on my podcast. I've had everybody else in the indie community on there. I need you."
I have everybody else in
it feels like you've had everybody else on
like
there.
I do.
You're like, I need you, Todd McFarlane, and Rob Liefeld, and that's it. I've had everybody else already.
If I got Todd McFarlane on this podcast, that would be the day where I might have to shut it down. I'd be like, I can't do any better.
Now I gotta see what happens after that, man.
I can't do any better.
Gotta see what happens after.
Real talk, man. If I had shut it down.
I had Mark Millar and Rob Liefeld give me commitments on Twitter. Hey, I'm willing to be on your podcast.
Wow.
This was last year. And this was through Twitter.
Crazy.
Then it was Mark Millar's was actually running his own Twitter account, and then he passed on somebody else. And once he did that, no one wanted to communicate with me. And then with Rob, I think it was around the same time his mom died. So I was like, I'm not going to press that.
Right.
But I mean, if you ask, sometimes they're willing to. You just got to be nice about it.
Yeah, I have I'm forgetting his name, the writer of Philadelphia.
Oh,
Rodney,
God,
forgot his name. Oh,
I know what
but
you're talking about, though.
yeah, but he said he would be on my show. I just need to reach through his, his people and everything like that. And I just haven't had the opportunity to do it. And who else? Daryl Banks,
Daryl
artist
Banks
of
is
Green
good.
Lantern. Yeah, he said he would. Rodney Barnes, thank you,
Rodney
Brandon,
Barnes, there you
appreciate
go.
it. Yeah, and Daryl Banks said he would do it, but it's always like I got to go talk to their people, and you run a comic book company.
Yep.
You're a writer and an artist as well, so the day can get away from you real quick.
One of the best interviews Danny and I did was with Eric Larson when he was on our podcast. And throughout the podcast, the man was doing his comic. Like, he was sitting there drawing. We could tell he was drawing while he was just sitting there answering our questions. I was like, am I supposed to be offended that he's not taking the time to focus on this podcast? Or am I like, am I excited that we're part of this now?
I'd be astonished. I'd be
That's
like,
amazing. First of all, to being able to do that and do it effectively, that would have made. I'd be like, I'd be impressed.
Hey, I just did chat and draw with Michael Watson last night, and I was just like, I don't know how you are able to have a conversation with me and draw, because I can't do that.
I can't either.
Like,
when
I got to focus.
I can't draw and be there at the same time. My focus is just on my artwork. So the idea of actually talking to somebody and trying to converse, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I said to him. I was like, that's why I don't do commissions when I'm at Comic Cons, because I got to sell books. Like, that's my goal when I'm there. It's like, I need to talk to people. I need to be looking up. If I'm looking down, then the people who I would make eye contact with are going to go by me. So, but let's get into this.
Okay.
You love comics, clearly.
I do. Man.
Where did your love affair start? That's what I ask every comic book creator who's come on here. When did your love affair start?
Mid 80s, definitely mid 80s. I started not with comic books, but with cartoons that were from comic books. I initially started with Ninja Turtles, and I found out that this was my favorite cartoon, and I found out there were comic books for that, and I was like, I'm going to get into it. Like, I always knew about Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. I knew of them, but I never was really drawn to it until Ninja Turtles came out. And I was like, oh, I can read about this too and not wait weeks and weeks for new stuff. Let me get into that. And I remember just going to different stores. And this was back in the day when you could buy a comic book at a grocery store, or a drugstore or what have you.
Yep.
I'd see something on the shelf and I'd get that and just read it. I remember the first book I ever bought with my own money was Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #2.
Oh, wow.
And I have no idea why I bought it, except for it had this picture of Ghost Rider. This was like future Ghost Rider. And I was like,
Spirit of Vengeance. That was his name.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You will learn really quickly. I have really good recall with comic books for no reason. It's such a useless ability. Can't make any money off of it.
But when you go on to Jeopardy and they're like, comic book trivia for $1,000.
I'm killing it. I'd be like, bang, 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 bang.
Final answer.
Then they go to geography and I'm like, pass.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you on that. I have the worst memory for anything. I write everything down. I'm horrible with names. So I usually call everybody dude or bruh because I can't remember your name.
Yep.
But yeah, anytime I make a comic, I have a ton of notes that I keep on hand in my Dropbox. That way I can check on it because I'm not going to remember anything. And it's weird. I meet people like you and they've read my books and they're like, so on page blah, blah, blah of issue 2, why did Malik say this? I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? That was 8 years ago. I don't remember making that.
But you know what, though? I'm not like that with my own book. Really? I forget my characters' names. I'd be like, what's his dad's name again?
Yeah.
Let me go back. Okay, I got to keep like a Word file open with everybody's name on it. Yep. Like my books, I only read them. I don't read my books after I make them because I spent so much time making it. It's like, I don't really want to see this again.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. Like once I've finished it and it's off to the printer, I'll read it one time when I get it in my hands. And after I do not want to look at this thing anymore except to sell it to somebody.
There it is.
That's the only other time I want to see it. And I think it is a little bit of, you've done it so many times. You've looked over the script. You're drawing it, so you're seeing the script, you're coloring it, you're seeing the script, and you're seeing everything. You're like, I'm tired of this shit.
Very much so. Very much so. Very much. I totally understand. So what were your favorite titles growing up?
Oh, anything X-Men. Anything that had an X on it, X-Force, X-Factor, Next Men. I bought Next Men because I thought it was an X-Men book. I was like, oh, this is John Byrne?
You were very, very, very upset. We were like, what is this? Where are the
why are they robots? What the hell is this
shit? What is this? Was that Hellboy? Why is Hellboy here? What are we doing?
I was like, what is this Next Men? It's an X-Men book. It has John Byrne. No, it's not. It's nothing even like this.
I know. I felt the same way when I saw Next Men. Yeah. I did.
But yeah.
See, I can appreciate you and me are from the same era of reading comics. So that's why I can appreciate.
Yeah, I was all X-Men, and then Image came out, and anything Image had, I bought.
Shut it down.
I was like, what? That was variant number 5 of Spawn. I'm gonna buy that. Okay, I've read it, but I'm gonna buy that anyways because it looks dope as hell. The story made no sense, but I'm buying it. Brigade number 7, I'm buying that too.
Why did I think of Brigade when you're talking? Literally, I thought of Brigade.
Because Brigade encompasses everything Image. It had amazing artwork, stupid storylines, no plot, but it looked fabulous, and it was extreme 90s book. That encompasses 90s books and it's yeah.
You know what Image book I loved, and it had like no real story, but I loved Jeff Matsuda.
Oh, was it Kaboom?
New Men.
Oh, New Men, yes.
Dude,
another Rob
I loved New Men. When it first came out, I was like, this art is amazing.
Yes.
What is happening in the story? There's nothing.
My Image book was Gen 13 and I think Shadowhawk.
Yeah.
Shadowhawk was dope.
Shadowhawk actually had a story though. Like all of the Image books, it probably had the most. Well, Spawn had a good story. Savage Dragon had a good story.
Yeah.
Cyberforce had a good story. Shadowhawk had a story.
The only problem with Shadowhawk is that once they revealed who Shadowhawk was, the interest died off of that. Yeah. It was like, all right, this isn't just another beat 'em up comic. There was no substance outside of the mystery of who he was.
I thought when he died.
Then they gave him AIDS. And I was like, really? We're going to get the black guy AIDS in the 90s? All right.
Yep.
Whatever. Did they do it twice?
They killed him twice, I think.
No,
I think they resurrected him.
Characters AIDS.
Chapel. Yeah.
I was just like, y'all did this twice.
Yeah. The only black dudes in Image outside of Spawn. And mind you, Spawn could only transfer back into a white guy with his power. So it was like, all right.
He was all. I was just saying this with BJ, man. I was like, I give props for Todd McFarlane for making Spawn black, even though he was burnt, but he's still black. He was black on the inside. That's all that matters. He was black on the inside.
How many black on the inside characters came out of the 90s?
Wasn't Die Hard black too?
Not just comic.
I think Die Hard was, yeah.
I think Die Hard. You know what black character I loved from Image? Sentinel.
Oh, you're right. I mean, he was an Iron Man knockoff, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was like he was so different from like the other black characters. He wasn't like, a former, hood dude or gangster or any, I like those black characters. But he was like a military man and he was the leader of the group. I remember Team Youngblood?
Team Youngblood, yeah.
Team Youngblood. Like
that was the away team of Youngblood, yeah.
Right. And he got like the big moment in the book. I remember that. Like he get the big heroic moment. I love the Image. I don't care.
Savage Dragon had a couple of black characters in it.
Yeah.
It was like they were the females, though.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Rapture? Yeah. That was her name, Rapture. I told you. Useless information that I have in my head.
But she was like, she had like a stripper outfit on or something like that.
Yeah. She was very stripper-esque.
Was Voodoo black from Wildcats?
No, Voodoo was white.
Was she? She just had Voodoo a really dark tan.
That's a stripper,
yeah,
right?
She was a stripper.
Yeah, she was white. There were no black. There were no black characters on Wildcats.
Jim Lee is like, I'm not drawing anybody outside of white people.
I didn't say it. Jim Lee, if you ever watch this, I didn't say it. That was Kyrun.
Jim Lee said, "I drew white people in X-Men all the time. I'm not drawing another one and want my own book. What the hell?"
Wait, there ain't many black X-Men. Like
Storm and
Bishop. Sync.
But that was after Jim Lee, though. So
yeah, but let's be honest. I love Chris Claremont, but there was not a ton of black characters introduced during his run.
Well, he did Giant Size X-Men, right? With the introduction of Storm. No. Wasn't it?
That was Len Wein.
Okay.
Len Wein, yeah.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, he didn't come on until later, I believe.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm trying to, it was basically Storm and Bishop. What was the other black characters during that long run? There's not
nobody.
Many.
Not heroes, at least.
And I got a pretty good memory for this, and we didn't get a new black character after Bishop until
I think it was Sync.
Yeah. Oh my God. I never even thought about that. That's awful.
And then, anyway, who's it been after that? What, Manifold?
Wow. No, there had to be more. Sunspot. Sunspot was Brazilian.
Yeah,
but he was black though. He was
Afro Latino.
Yeah, but they kept lighting him up as he just kept getting lighter and lighter every appearance. He just got lighter and lighter. He got lighter and taller it was the weirdest thing. When he first came out, he was like 5'3".
Yeah.
And now, if you look at his book, he's like 6'3". He got to be like 6'3", and he's probably your complexion, Jamari. He started out my complexion.
Yeah. Well, then who is the next black character after that?
After Sync?
After Sync, yeah. Who?
M.
M with him. Was M black?
M was black. Yeah.
I thought she was.
They lightened her too.
Okay.
So M, Sync.
But that same group though.
Sunspot, Bishop, Storm.
See, now you're gonna make me look this up on my.
I know. We can do this another time. Well, okay. So tell us.
Oh, Darwin
was gray in the comic books. He wasn't black.
But you know what? People forget he's black because he's like grayish looking, right?
Yeah, he was like gray in the movie. He was black. Well, we don't talk about Darwin around here. Darwin invokes a rage within me that,
only because of the movie, though.
Yes, because of the movie.
Only because of the movie.
But still,
an indestructible character who's destructible.
Oh my gosh!
Who the first one to die?
That's why everybody is like, "Oh, I love X-Men First Class." Honestly, it ruined the entire movie for me.
Yeah. The sad thing about that is the moment even before that scene where he dies, where Banshee is showing off his powers, everybody covers his ears, but Darwin, because he automatically does it. But he can't. All right.
Yep. See, that's why I don't bring it up. Jamari, you got a question before I ask my next one? See, I need a minute.
Like I said, I'm enjoying listening because you're hitting a lot of the same points of what got me into comics. I guess the biggest difference is, while I did have X-Men, I think Spider-Man was like my gateway into traditional. And then the comics that I bought when I was really young was the G.I. Joe and Transformers comics for the longest.
Okay.
Which I had told Javon once before, they were really well written, but because they were G.I. Joe, you're like, no, nobody's gonna be reading this shit. And it's like,
no, that was G.I. Joe was a big seller, man.
G.I.
Joe was a huge seller back then.
Yeah.
The whole Storm Shadow Snake Eyes story in the comics is so rich. And then the background of Cobra Commander, it's not the same thing as the Cobra La stuff. And all of that stuff to me was that was my big boy stuff. So it's you're just making me think back to that stuff. And like you said, that 90s X-Men comics era, that's where that was my X-Men. And you can make fun of me. I was a big Gambit fan at that time.
Everybody loved Gambit.
Everybody loved Gambit.
He's
problematic now.
So here's
everybody loved Gambit.
In the 90s, I watched every Spider-Man series there was. Every Spider-Man cartoon. I loved them. I hated all the Spider-Man comics at the time. I never bought any Spider-Man comics.
I can understand that.
But the cartoons were dope. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It could never translate for me.
That's because that 90s, they were like hip deep in like the clone stuff.
Yeah.
The Carnage stuff.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, this is after. Carnage and all that was before. That was pre-clone. Once they went into clone stuff, they went full clone. They should never go full clone.
And yeah.
Never go full clone.
Never.
That's a good one. I'm gonna give you
that. So we could get into talking a little bit more about comics later, but
I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Since you guys
are you going to talk about comics?
This is a big thing about Image.
Okay,
we can talk about it later, man.
I just want to know what was his big.
Wait, what?
Go ahead, man.
No object. Which Image character or series would you run now if you could? If DC comes to you and is like, you can run whichever one you want.
Image? Who?
Yeah,
Which
those
one?
old
Just
Image,
Image
the
comics.
Wildstorm Image stuff.
Okay, so here's the thing though. If I want to do what I would want to do, I'd pick Youngblood, but Youngblood is owned by some jerk right now, so I can't do that. But if I could, I'd do a Youngblood.
I think everybody likes Youngblood because the idea is actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
But the execution wasn't what it could have been.
So I feel like Youngblood was 20 years too soon.
I
Youngblood
agree.
was made to be in a social media centric world.
Yes.
And he played it up like this is a group of heroes that are in the limelight all the time.
Yeah.
That storyline in today's day would have totally made sense. Like if the Avengers were real, this is what they would have been like.
Yeah. But you know what though? They actually, the Ultimates is almost like the better version of what Youngblood was supposed to be. A more serious version.
Yeah. Oh,
but it's definitely there. But we can get into that because we could go deep into it. I want to learn more about how did you transition from comic book fan to comic book creator?
So about it's been like 8 years now. 8, maybe 9 years ago, I was working at Progressive Insurance, and I was working the late shift, and I was doing call center work, and there was rarely any calls coming in, so I always had like a bunch of drawings and sketches around, and I would bring them home. And my wife was like, "You have all these notes, you have all these sketches everywhere. Why don't you just do something with it?" And I was like, "I don't know how to make a comic," and this was before I really realized how to do it. And she's like, "Well, just Google it, find out how to do it." And I Googled that, and I came back and I was like, making a comic, as far as actually producing one, is a lot easier than I thought it would be. You just got to get the paper, draw it out, and send it to the printer. So from that point, I wrote and drew my first issue of Shaman's Destiny, which is my first comic. And I made it not with the idea that anything would happen. I would just try it out. So I drew it out. Oh God, I want to say it took me like 3 months to draw that first book. And it was all black and white, and it was the worst comic I've ever produced in my life. And everybody says that. Like the first book is always yours because you're still learning. But I look back at it and I'm like, this is horrible. But this is horrible writing. This is horrible plotting. This is horrible artwork. But it got me into it, and there it is. And that's actually a remastered cover. I did the original cover, and it didn't even look anywhere as good as that. But then I started producing it, and I started giving it to people, and people were like, "Okay, this is not that bad. What happens?" Because if you read issue 1, it's a little bit of a cliffhanger, and I'll spoil it because it's been so long. The main character gets mortally wounded, and you're like, well, I need to know how he survives. Like, does he survive? Does he keep going? And I was like, well, I never planned on an issue 2. I just wanted to end it there.
You could do it.
I was trying to see if I could actually produce this. So everybody's like, all right, well, I bought this. I need to know what happened. I was like, all right, fine. So I made issue 2, and it was right around the same time Free Comic Book Day was coming out and my local comic shop, he was like, hey, I know you just produced these books. Did you want to sell your book at our event? And my local comic book shop has like a huge free comic book day. Like he takes up the entire parking lot of his strip mall. He's had DJs and wrestling rings where they do wrestling events there.
Wow.
And we've had the news come down. So I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that whole scene. And he was like, dude, just come down and just sell your books and see what happens. And I was like, all right, I'll come down. That morning I went down. I had issue 1 and issue 2, and I had a couple of pencils. And I was like, I didn't have any change. I didn't have a card reader or anything. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I sat at my little table and I started selling books.
There you go.
I was like, this is cool. People are reading it. People want it. This is something different than what everybody else has. And by the end of the day, I almost had all my books sold out. And the ending of the day, these older Black family came by, and the mom was like, "You're a comic book creator?" I was like, "I guess, sure. If you want to say that, yeah, I made these." And she was like, "Hey, come over here." She got her whole family to come over, and I had a poster out that my friend had brought by at the middle of the show, and she was like, "Here, take a picture with me." I was like, "I'm a nobody. Why do you want to take a picture with me?" She's like, "Oh, just you're a comic creator. You might become famous one day. Take a picture." I was like, "All right." So I did a type of deal, took a picture, and that was the end of the day. And from that point, I was like, I want to do this more. I want to produce and have people want my stuff and like my work. I want people to read my work. And I've always, been an artist since I was a kid, but and I had thought that maybe I can make a comic when I was like in my teens and whatnot. But as I got older, that idea just faded away because real life came around. And then fast forward a couple years later, fast forward back to Free Comic Book Day after that, a close friend of mine, he was like, "Hey, how do you make a comic? You made a couple of issues. How do you make a comic?" And I was like, "Hey, I'll show you. Come on with me." And then I created a company with him called Big Tree Comics. And the idea was, I'm from Sacramento, California at the time. Our nickname was the City of Trees because we were supposed to have the most trees in per capita or something like that for any city in the world, something like that. But I was like, well, also with a tree branches out and it grows. And you get the nutrients and feeds off each other. So I was like, we're gonna call ourselves Big Tree Comics. So we're gonna get bigger as a tree. We're gonna work together. And I brought them on. I brought like 4 friends on, and we produced 4 more books of their series. I produced 4 more books of my own series, and we were rolling. And then reality kicked in, and they weren't selling any more books, so they slowly stopped doing it. But that love of comics, that need to create was still in me, and I was like, I'm going to jump off and just do my own thing. And from that point, I did Taurus Comics. I produced Saw the Lightning Wielder, which is the first book from Taurus Comics. Where are these books now? All my books are on my website at tauruscomics.com. You can get issue 1 through 6 of Shaman's Destiny, issue 1 through 3 of Saw the Lightning Wielder, and issue 1 of Ruby from Planet Oz. They're all available on digital and print formats. But once I got on my own, I was like, this is better for me because I'm not good working with group because I'm the type of person, if I'm working with a group and the group is failing, I'm going to do everything I can to get us to the goal. I'm going to drag you along with me, but we're going to get to this goal one way or another. And
right.
I don't like the idea of me doing all the work all the time. So working on my own is better for me.
No, I feel you. Sorry, I'm over here choking to death.
That's all right, man. I don't need you. I just got Jamari.
I know you just. Like, I'm just a luxury right now.
Yeah.
I get it.
We're here for your looks. That's all.
I'm the same way. I've had other people talk to me about combining and all that. My work ethic is insane when it comes to my book. And if I feel like you aren't working as hard as I am, talk, Jamar.
It chokes you up. We get it. It chokes you up.
He's very choked up about his work. He does. So in that case, I want to know how you've got now Taurus Comics, correct?
Yeah.
So
yep.
how How has that grown since you started that, and how did when you just decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is my company, and what
You
are
know,
you
when I
doing?
when I started, I was really focused on just doing a lot of local stuff, a lot of local shows and stores. But when I got on my own and I started doing my first Kickstarters, especially for Saw issue 1, and I started getting pledges from all the way around the world, I was like, I could do this. I could turn this into a company where I can get the distribution. I can ship it out my own if I need to. So that was the first thing. That first Kickstarter for Saw issue 1, I was like, I'm getting orders and pledges from Australia, from Japan, from parts of the United States, which means that there's a market there. There's people there that want to read it. And these weren't just the digital comics. People wanted the physical copies. So that's when I said, this could be something. And from there, it just kept growing. I started reaching out to different stores and started doing store orders from them.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is I'm so passionate about it that I can barely speak. It's just it's overtaken me.
But, I want to know who Facebook user is so badly right now.
I know he's really it must be Danny.
That makes sense now.
Probably Danny. But I was just gonna say, like, if somebody's not working as hard as I am, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'll just do it myself, which is why like all my books are done by me. Totally. So
okay, Russell Westbrook, but okay.
I am. You know what? I'll take that. I am the Russell Westbrook of comic books.
Hopefully not the 21-22 Lakers Russell
I'm the
Westbrook.
OKC Russell Westbrook.
Okay. All right. That's good.
The MVP Russell Westbrook.
All right.
But yeah, it's good to I like hearing, when people find out that they enjoy something, and then they it's almost like you found your mission in life.
Yeah.
And it's such a fulfilling moment when you just, this is what I want to do. This makes me happy. I'm going to keep doing this. And then not only are you doing it, but people are giving you money to do it.
Yeah.
It's always a beautiful thing to get money.
It's great. I lost some friends in the process, like the people I brought into Big Tree Comics. Unfortunately, my friendship with them basically ended after I left them, even though they haven't even tried to produce anything after that. But I feel like I'm in a better place mentally, physically, financially. I'm in a lot better place than I was there. And you're right. When you know what you want to do and you're doing it, there's no feeling out there like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about StarCore.
Okay.
By the way, I love this design.
Thank you.
I like simple designs. I think a lot of times creators do too much when they're making their characters. And the truth of the matter is, like, sometimes less is more.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be Danny talking about LeBron.
It's definitely Danny. I know when Danny's talking.
That's definitely Danny.
I've done enough top fives with Danny, and I'm sure you've done enough Four Tales with Danny to know when Danny's talking, and especially when he's hiding behind Facebook user. But yeah, let's talk about StarCore. Where did the idea for that come from, and how did you get started on it?
So the idea of StarCore is from my love of the Marvel character Darkhawk. I actually have every issue of Darkhawk from the 90s in its original run, plus all the annuals. So it's like 53 issues altogether, kind of the annuals.
And you are probably the only person to do so.
Hell yeah. I have every book that he guest appeared in, from West Coast Avengers, Secret Defenders, Spider-Man. If there was something with Darkhawk in it, I bought that shit.
So you got the one with him, the Spider-Man book with him, Nova, Moon Knight, Punisher, Night Thrasher, all of them in this Secret Empire. That's
Night Thrasher.
No.
I love
Night Thrasher.
There will be no Night Thrasher slander.
This is absolutely not.
I love New Warriors. I love New Warriors.
Love New Warriors.
There will be no slander here for that.
So, but I've always had these ideas of what I wanted Darkhawk to be.
Right.
And then, was it 2000s? They just retconned everything about Darkhawk. And that pissed me off so bad. I was like, this is something we loved. Why would you just just be like, F you. In the years that you guys have loved this, why would you do that? So
Are you talking about when they made him like a raptor or something? They're like the raptor fraternity.
Yeah, and then he was addicted to being. He was like in AA meetings for being a superhero or some crap like that.
Oh, with Runaways, right?
Yeah, and then he was the Raptors, but then they said that the Raptors are part of Shi'ar Empire. And I was like, really? So the whole origin story that they told and which was a dope origin story. If you don't know, Darkhawk was originally a android body that was created by a criminal to basically be his bodyguard. But then the scientists decided they didn't want to do that, and they stole the suits. I was like, that's different. It's new. It's unique. So, anyways, no, he wasn't black.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say only black characters are getting AIDS around here.
God,
I can think of another black character that got AIDS too. I believe there's one in the Incredible Hulk too.
Oh, I didn't read Hulk.
Jim Wilson. Yep. Peter David's run. Yeah.
So basically, if you were black in the 90s, you had to have AIDS or use a big gun.
Or have a Jerry curl.
There you go.
But so Starcore is your love letter to Darkhawk.
Yeah, and it's set in that same universe. Like it's a teenage character who finds this crystal that gives him the suit. But since I've grown older over the time, I've noticed things about our world, and I wanted to address those. So Lost Starcore also deals with things like xenophobia and immigration and things like that. Those ideas that maybe we can implement them. And I'm not saying it's like social justice or anything like that, but it's just there are ideas that I feel like I wanted to touch on this that I haven't done on my other books. And I felt having this character would be a good way of doing that.
Do you feel like it's like a natural progression in your and where you've come from? The what was the name of the book? The first book that you did,
Shaman's Destiny.
Shaman's Destiny. Like, do you feel like this is where you intended on being? This type of character is where you intended on being, and everything kind of led up to it.
I'm gonna say no because
just like an idea that came to you.
I'm gonna say no because that would mean that I actually had a plan for anything, and I really don't. This was just Starcore specifically was just something I've had deep inside on back of my mind for years, literally years. If I had really wanted to start off with a book that I loved instead of Shaman's Destiny, it probably would have been Starcore. But Shaman's Destiny was just my first. I've told this to other people. As I was drawing issues 2, 3, 4 of Shaman's Destiny, I literally was just making up the script as I was drawing the page. Like it was like, all right, I drew that page. What the hell can I do on the next page? Okay, I'm just going to draw this out. And then I would go back and somehow fit it together. Because I didn't know what writing was at the time. I didn't know what plotting was. I was just like, I just want to draw because that's what I grew up doing was draw. I never intended to be a writer, but I knew I had ideas. So Shaman's Destiny was just my trial and error of creating a comic. But everything after that was more or less planned out than anything.
Okay. But yeah, like Starcore sounds like a really good idea. I believe I backed it. Sometimes I just be clicking, like just clicking Kickstarters, and I don't remember which ones I did, and I don't even like see the money come out when it does. It's just like when it shows up, I'm like, oh yeah, I backed it. Okay.
Yeah. See, I don't know half the stuff I back until I hear a message from my wife saying, "What did you back?" And I was like, I don't know. That was
I know my wife throws me. She'll be like, "Hey, you got something?" And I'm just like, "Oh yeah.
I was waiting on that. Yeah.
I'm supposed to get this.
I'm still waiting on my Kickstarter, Rob Liefeld. Just so you know, it's been like it's been 8 years for that Kickstarter.
Which Kickstarter?
The Brigade relaunch Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah. You know what it is? Like I've really learned when it comes to Kickstarters, regardless of who it is, the minute you do it, you just got to let that money go. It's almost like somebody borrows money from you, and like you have to give that money away, give that money knowing you might not get it back. And then the same with Kickstarter. Sometimes you give that money and you might not get it back, but you will remember who that person is so that they can't come around here again.
Yeah, I get that.
You never get that brigade book.
You never.
I never will. I probably never will get that brigade book. But I was actually talking with my friend earlier today. It feels like pros, quote unquote pros, people that have worked in with Marvel DC, they get more leeway when it comes to not funding a Kickstarter or not fulfilling a Kickstarter than you or I will. Like I was talking about Carl Kessel. I don't know if you're familiar with that creator. He had a Kickstarter 3 years ago that funded for a book, and it was him and Tom Grummett.
I got that book.
You do? Because nobody else got that book. Or did you back it?
I'm almost certain that it's over there. I'm looking right at it.
I don't think you did, because nobody has gotten a book yet. Or maybe it was like
see, now I gotta go look.
It was section 0. It was section 0. Okay. I just put everything at a hold, or what happened? All right, so I'll just keep talking.
Okay. We had dead air for a second, but it's not it. So I got this Carl Kessel.
So that's what I was going to say. So he funded for section 0.
Oh, I heard about
Tom
that.
Grummett has been doing so many other projects with like DC and Marvel, or specifically DC, that he hasn't drawn the rest of section 0.
Oh.
But Carl Kessel has gone on and produced 5 other Kickstarters in between this section 0 comic and today that he's fulfilled and funded. And I'm like, if that was me and I did a Kickstarter and I didn't fund it for 3-4 years, no one would fund me.
Yeah.
No one would. And I get it's because they're pros, they're industry legends. But I'm like, dude, give me the same respect you would any other person.
Yeah. Hey, listen, what's his name? Ethan Van Sciver, or whatever. He was milking. He been milking people out of it.
Yeah, but he's milking people using hate and stupidity. I'm sorry.
I understand. Like when I do Kickstarters, I do my best to wait until the entire book is done, especially because I'm doing everything.
Sure.
Like, my strong Kickstarter, everything is done.
Nice.
Like it's entirely drawn and colored and lettered. All the rewards are, I would say 90% of the rewards are designed and ready to go. The t-shirts, everything.
Which is why everybody should go and fund his Kickstarter right now.
Everybody go right there. It's like the link is right there, guys. Just go right to it. It's such a beautiful book. I know I'm in the middle of a interview, but my God, look at the art.
Give him a few dollars.
Please
give him a few dollars.
Give me a few dollars. Anyway, let's get back.
No, I feel you. Like,
hey man, listen, there's a reason why I'm not a big fan of doing Kickstarters, because after like the first 2 weeks, like if you're not one of those people who just blow it out the water, like some of these guys are so good at it. Like Michael Watson, I've been giving this man props. Michael Watson blows his out of the water in like a day, and I'm just looking at my Kickstarter like, what you doing?
Yeah.
But like after
kick it, like, come on, do something.
Yeah, like do something. But after like 2 weeks, I feel like I'm like, please, sir, may I have some more? Please help me. I feel like Suzanne Summers, like you too can support
for
like
$5. You can fund this Kickstarter.
The arms of an angel. That's
it's so tough, man. It's such a hard thing to do, Like after a couple of weeks, you're just begging at a certain point. You're just begging.
And I'm not a very outgoing person just in general. So for me and you have to constantly always be on.
Yeah.
You always have to do something to get engagement. So that's draining for me.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather just sit back, produce a book, and be like, here.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. So I mean,
I run a Kickstarter. I told people before, it's a second job you run a Kickstarter.
It is
with all the updates you got to do, with the social media posts and interviews. It's a second job. And by that 3rd week, you're like, fuck this. I am done. I don't care if y'all want to fund this or not.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I'm like 10 days in right now, and I'm so tired.
And then when you have like 5 days left, you're like, please fund me, please, sir. Just give me something.
And listen, man, I get so many people, and I love y'all. I love my family, and I love my friends. But guys, if you back now, the money don't come out until the Kickstarter goes through. So just do it. Like, if you're gonna do it, don't tell me you gotta wait till payday. You have to wait till payday. Just do it.
Just for that, I'm gonna always wait till payday just to mess with
everybody does though. And I think it's because it's a fun. I think they think of things like a fundraiser. Like, okay, if I have to put my information in now, it means it's coming out right now. And I don't want to do that right now.
I would rather it come out now.
I would actually rather, I'd rather have.
I do too. I think it would be a lot easier for everybody because
just put like on a little hold pattern. Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's all pending until X day. And then if
Kickstarter
it doesn't get funded, it gets refunded back into your account.
Basically.
Kickstarter is it's a pain in the butt.
So you also think the people who do get up on stuff, and there's been so many people who have taken it and have used it for ill.
Yeah.
I remember when Kickstarter first started, that was a darling of the internet. Everybody was like, oh, Kickstarter, this is a new way to fund things. This is a new way. And it became this thing that you had in the creative circles, you had people like yourselves who were doing good work. And then you had these other people coming in and it's like, well, we're going to I'm going to have this vanity project on here all of a sudden.
You still have that.
And I mean, the thing is, they're not. You got too many people who are not fulfilling it, like you talked about earlier. They're not fulfilling stuff, or it just becomes a scam because like what they fulfill is absolute trash. I've seen this so hard in the video game circle that so many times I've seen this. Oh, this game is supposed to come out, and it's absolute trash.
My pet peeve with Kickstarters is like when I see people who don't need Kickstarters using Kickstarter.
We're talking about like Keanu Reeves and Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I'm just like I understand why they use it from a marketing standpoint, and so they don't have to use their own money. Like, let's be real here, they don't have to use their own money for the most part. So I get it, but like it's like it's so hard. You're in competition with so many other Kickstarters, especially when you run in circles like you and I run in same circles. Like, some of us are always putting out Kickstarters, and you just after a while, like, it becomes like white noise.
Yeah,
and you just got to find a way. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I guess I'm on the fence with celebrities using Kickstarter because there is this idea that celebrities will bring new eyes to Kickstarter and maybe they wouldn't visit it. And there's a possibility. Like I know creators who have said they've gotten traffic from other Kickstarters. So there's always that possibility. My pet peeve is when I see the established comic companies like a Marvel and a Boom Studios and a Dynamite use Kickstarter. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You have everything that we don't have. You have a distribution. You have a marketing team. You have all this. Why are you using this field to fund your comics? I mean, that's where I get sketchy stuff.
Usually when they use it, it's for quote unquote independent or new ideas instead of because they don't want to risk their established stuff. Yeah, it's like, well, we'll just make we'll make the public fund our new ideas or our riskier ventures.
That's pretty much it, though. I mean, it is like it's just an easier way for them to gauge whether people want this book, as opposed to let's just put this book out and pray to God that somebody likes it. But we've rambled about Kickstarter enough.
I was going to tell you the craziest thing I've seen on Kickstarter was an independent creator who wanted to fund a Batman comic book. He produced a Kickstarter because he said he submitted his idea to DC and it was rejected. So he went on Kickstarter and got an artist and said, I'm going to get a Kickstarter to fund my Batman comic book. And it was the Batman from DC. And Kickstarter approved it. It didn't fund. The campaign did not fund, but Kickstarter approved it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why is that getting approved in any way, shape, or form? Like, I was like, wow. And the guy literally put it in the description of his Kickstarter. I submitted this to DC and they did not want it, so I decided to go on my own and produce my own Batman comic.
Now I know how to get my new Warrior story out there. Thank you, Kyrun. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Let me get started right now. Let me pull this. Yeah, let's do it.
I was like, wow, man.
Listen, man. He probably he got eyes out on him. At least,
just to let you guys know, next month I'm watching Kickstarter for a Superman comic book.
you got my money. You got my money.
We'll call it the
Is
last
it Black
Krypton.
Superman? I need a black. I need.
You don't need
Negro Superman. In fact, I don't want just black. I want Negro Superman.
No,
we already have a Negro Superman.
No, this is gonna be a Hindu Superman.
Oh,
Hindu India.
Superman?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you.
You guys are trying to get canceled real quick.
I'm just saying. They've already had a black one. They've had a Chinese one. He's already white. I got to keep going to make mine's different, right? I can make a Mexican. No? All right.
Moving on. Let's
I just live here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you do a lot of podcasting.
I try to, yes.
You do a lot of podcasting. How did you get into podcasting?
The pandemic, dude.
Okay.
It was during the pandemic, and this was 2021. So it was just last year. And conventions were starting to open up again. And I am, like I said earlier, I am not an outgoing person. So when I've done conventions and I've been asked to do panels, I've always frozen up on them. So I realized I needed a way to get practice with just talking with a microphone in front of me and answering questions and asking my own questions just in case I led a podcast or led a panel. So I just had this idea, I'm going to do a podcast. And at the time I was like, okay, I need somebody that's going to be like you said, I'm a very straightforward, I'm very dry, but I need somebody that's going to add a flavor to it. And I was like, who's the craziest person I know? Who's the most outgoing person I know? And I asked him and he said no. So I was like, okay, who's the second most outgoing person I know? And that was Danny J. Quick. And then Danny was like, okay, yeah. And I was really hoping, don't let Danny know this, I was really hoping that he would promote it on his not his Kickstarter, his TikTok. Because Danny got like $70 million followers or want that. So I was like, dude, just tell everybody you got a podcast. We get fans listening in and maybe get paid for this. Nah, he don't promote it. But it's been fun. That's good. It's been fun because I didn't want it to do like a regular podcast where we're constantly pimping out people's Kickstarters and what their next project. I wanted to actually find out about the creators themselves. What got them into comics? Why are they still doing comics? Because like we all know, most of us for comics don't make money. We cover our printing costs, hopefully. We cover our production costs. A lot of us don't make money. So why are you still doing this when you don't get a lot of financial reward out of it? You're not becoming famous out of this. So there's a passion, there's a love behind that makes you want to keep doing it. And that drives me to figure out what everybody's reason is, because everybody has a different reason of why they're doing it. Yeah, we all want to be famous with our books someday, but each of us are doing this for different reasons. And it's just been hilarious. It's been fun. Like I said, I've had Eric Larson on my show. I had Dan Fraga, who did Brigade back in the day on the show. But I've had a bunch of indie creators.
Had me on there.
Javon's been on there. Danny Quick's been on there. And it's been cool because we want to just showcase the creators and the creative side of things. And that's the only reason. And it has helped me with my confidence on things.
Good. I mean, yeah. I mean, I never even, which is funny, like before last year, I never even gave it a second thought. I know Jamari had put the bug in my ear a few times about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But I would always bounce it back to Jamari and be like, all right, dude, you started, I'll join. And then Jamari would never bring it up again. So we would do that like randomly. And then Top 5 happened on like
just out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, you know what it is? And I've told this story before. Morgan had got on Facebook Live to talk about Black Panther.
Was that like 3 or 4 hour live session he does?
Yeah, I don't even. It was just like he was on it, and I remember I was just like drawing while I was watching it, and I was commenting, and I was giving him crap, and I didn't even really know Morgan like that at the time. Like we had never really spoken, and so he's like, "Javon, come on in, let's talk about it." And I swear we argued for like it's like an hour and a half. It was a legendary body. Like it was such a funny thing. So when it was over, he reached out to me. He was like, "Yeah, we got to do that again. Like we should do it." And then he kept coming up. So it was his idea to do like a top 5 list. And like once I started doing it, I was like, my face is getting out there. People are learning more about me. I was like, I'm more outgoing when it comes to like doing like Comic-Cons and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it's cool because you guys have with Danny also, you guys have this chemistry. Like I know Morgan and Danny have known each other for centuries, it feels like. But there's still a chemistry between the 3 of you guys that it makes it feel like you're all in the same room just hanging out. And for me, that's always the best.
Yeah.
That's always the best ones. That's always the best conversation, the best podcast. And when it's not scripted, it's not feeling like it's just robotic and reproduced everything. It's just a conversation between a couple people just hanging out, having fun. Like I've been on podcasts where the host is just sitting there reading questions to me. And it's what's this about?
I'm reading questions.
Yeah.
I take offense to that, sir. I'm reading questions. I got it right here.
No, I mean,
I get what you mean.
But like that's all they do is they just sit there and they're basically like reading a script. And I'm like, this is the driest conversation ever. It's like, okay, so what is StarCorp? Well, StarCorp is this comic book. Okay, and are you the artist? Yes, I'm the artist. Come on. Stop looking at your notes. Let's talk.
Did you come up with the book StarCorp?
Yeah. No.
Did you write
it? My friend Danny J. Quick came up with it. That's why it's purple.
Him and his purple, man. I tell you, dude. I just don't get it.
But no, when you can have a conversation, especially when you're having a conversation with somebody you've never met, and it just flows, those are the best podcasts for me. Now, I probably have a little bit of a background because of my customer service aspect, where they teach you how to conversation. They teach you what questions to ask, how to make open or closed questions, so it helps with that conversation. But some people naturally do that, and for me, it took practice to get even where I am now, just talking. Like those first couple of podcast episodes, they were horrible. I think the second one was Morgan, and half the time it was just Morgan and Danny talking, and I was just sitting there like, I don't know what the hell to say. I don't know how to get in between this conversation between the 2 of them, so I'm just gonna sit back and let it go. And then I want to say like maybe 10, 15 episodes after that, we had Morgan back on, and you could tell that I was able to interject and actually talk and get in between them because I felt more comfortable doing it. So.
Yeah, I think our first few episodes of Top 5 were okay. I think we were still kind of figuring it out. But I think when we did that Top 5 female singers,
that was a good one.
That was like,
yep,
that was it. Like that set the tone from that point on. It was anarchy from that point. So I enjoy listening to you guys. I try and watch you guys anytime Saturday because I'm up early.
Yeah, I'm up early too because Danny won't do a recording outside of that time on Saturday. So I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to record a podcast because of him. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm up. I usually have my laptop open, listening to you guys. If with my son or whatever. If I'm asleep, I'm asleep. But you guys are. You have a very nice, refreshing way of. Well, I like the balance that you have. Like you said, Danny is very outgoing, and you're very like you cut him. You're very good at cutting Danny off at the knees.
Thank you.
I don't know if you know this.
I have practiced that.
It's like Danny will say something and you'll just cut him, and he'll just get you got it. He catches his tongue and he doesn't know what to say.
You got to put him in his place sometimes. make sure he understands you're here and he's down there.
That's how I deal with Morgan, man. I got to do it every time. Morgan goes so bad.
You and Morgan absolutely feed off of each other. There is no question.
There are so many times I've watched Top 5, and the two of them are just ganging up on Danny, and Danny's just sitting there like, just taking it, just head down. like I have texted Danny in the middle of an episode, and I'd be like, "Did you want to leave that podcast? Are you okay?"
Show me where the podcast touched
because
you.
Danny digs in though. That's the problem. Like Danny has he has an opinion, and he will dig in on the opinion, no matter how much you present facts to him. He will dig in and he won't let it go. But I think all of us, no, I've never been like they gang up on me, but I give back. Morgan just gets frustrated and he'll just be like, "I'm done."
See,
we made him so mad one time. Like that was the best one. Like Danny and I just didn't let up. I think Danny smelled blood in the water.
Oh, he went
and he just went at Morgan. Like he just kept going.
Yeah. And Danny is he's so forgiving on things. It's like you said, I cut him in the knees, but he'll be like at the end of the show when we're talking, he's like, "Dude, that was good. That was good." And I was like, "You cool? You all right?" He's like, "Yeah, that was a really good show." Like, "All right, man, you coming back for more? Then okay."
So I will I'll joke on Danny, but like Morgan gets frustrated.
Yeah.
And so like I will joke about whatever, like the Michael Jackson had a hot 10 years.
Yeah, no, it was like, a hot 8. He said like a hot 8.
Nah, he's just crazy. So I'll like make fun of him, but Morgan will legitimately get frustrated. And then like the way that they like Danny will see that Morgan's frustrated and he'll take that opportunity to make it worse. So
but I think that's that connection that they've had for friends for being so long. They're like, I know at Morgan that I can just go at Danny. I can say what I want, and Danny are gonna be cool. Whereas I know if Morgan and I were talking, he probably wouldn't be as hard on me as he would be with Danny. He'd let up a little bit, but and Danny, like I said, he's nice. He's
a nice guy.
He's gonna forgive you no matter what.
So. Now Morgan goes hard at me.
Yes.
He goes hard.
Y'all, like I said, y'all feed off of each other.
But I've never gotten mad at Morgan. If you've seen any argument, I'm always like, I'm laughing at like the end.
Well, Javon, you're an instigator.
I am. I'm professional. On that podcast, I'm a professional instigator.
Oh, you absolutely are.
I'm like the dude stretching. Like,
yes.
Crack your knuckles like, let's go. Let's get ready. Right. Let's do this.
And if I see it like the slightest crack, I'm like, this gonna be a good show today. So
it's like you can ask him about the phone conversations me and him have.
Oh,
because you're like, me and Javon, if we go more than like if a week goes by and we ain't talked to each other at least 3 times, something's wrong. So
no, that's just because I got kids, man. I got kids.
Well, that too, because it's usually going. But like,
ain't nothing wrong. I just got kids, but
I know what ends up happening is like he's going to go pick the kids up, or he's going to go pick something up, and then I get the phone call.
Oh yeah, everybody knows.
That's the only time I talk football season, like the football season is evil.
Yeah,
because like I am an unfortunate Falcons fan, and of course his devil team gave us the worst thing we could possibly ever have in life. So all of that.
Okay, wait. I gotta know what team is this?
That would. Oh, you mean the New
Just
England Patriots?
Say the name.
Oh God.
The devil. Name. No, they're the devil. That's all there is to it.
Screw that.
They're the absolute devil.
I love the Falcons just because the fact that my Niners used to beat up on them all the time throughout the 80s and 90s. I love the Falcons for that. I wish they would come back into the NFC West. Damn it!
You can take Seattle. You're a Chiefs fan. No, you're a Broncos. Well, you're a Niners fan.
I'm a Niners fan.
Oh,
yes.
I at least
what was that? Wait,
I at least respect the Niners.
Actually, I really don't care about the 49ers. Like I don't think talks about them. I don't know. I got nothing against them.
It does feel like the Patriots' reign came right when the 49ers crashed. So,
no,
it was
quite.
Joe Montana's illegitimate son. It tracks.
It was quite a gap.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was the last.
Okay, when was the Patriots' first Super Bowl?
2001.
Okay, Niners were going into at least the NFC Championship to 97, 98.
Yeah, but you didn't win you ain't win a ring since like 94, 95, right?
It was the 94
like 10 years. It was like 5 years in between.
See, look at him now. He's gonna be now when it's his turn to go through that. He's gonna be like, no, we were still competitive.
Listen, I have already told you, Jamari, I am okay. We had a good 20 years.
You better be okay with that run.
I'm good. If it never happens again, I just don't want us to like be terrible. Like, I mean, if we're competitive, I'm good, but I don't want us to be terrible. I don't think we're going to be terrible.
But let's not go. You're going to be terrible.
What?
Mac Jones is terrible. I saw him play in college. He's not a good NFL. I'm just saying this objectively. I saw the man play
in college. He won a championship. What are you talking about? He won the championship,
but it wasn't because
he threw
of him.
For like 400 yards.
He was throwing ducks out there. It was just like, here, somebody.
I'm gonna change the subject before I never speak to Kyrun again.
Okay. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
3 years, you guys are gonna be looking for another quarterback. You can mark my words.
Okay, Jimmy G.
I hated Jimmy G when we traded for him, dude.
Trey Lance.
So did not want Jimmy G when we traded for him.
You would have been happy if Mac Jones got drafted instead of Trey Lance. You would have been ecstatic. Y'all probably would have made the Super Bowl.
Maybe. We could have made the Super Bowl. If we had Matt Ryan, we would have made the Super Bowl.
So let's get back to comic books since we all love comics here. Are there any creators right now that you enjoy?
I love Greg Elisi with his It's Not the Were Spider.
Okay.
I love Tuskegee Heirs. That's a great book. God. One of my favorite books is Long John webcomic by Dan Bethel.
Okay.
If you follow me, you've seen me post about his stuff a lot. Nathan Kelly did a book called Drexler that he stopped doing it, but he did like 3 issues of it. It's such a fun book, and I wish he would go back to it. He's doing this new book now, but I wish he'd go back to it. God, what else? I didn't know you were going to tell me this, and I have to think off the top of my head what else there are.
Are you mostly an indie guy?
Yeah, most of my books now. I do have a pull list from my comic shop that I buy books, but most of my stuff right now is just all indie stuff.
I can't do pull lists anymore.
Why not?
I got in trouble last time I did it.
Oh, okay.
It was like I had like a pull list. They were pulling for a long time, and I didn't show up for.
Okay.
You walk away with like $500 worth of comic books. No,
I think I go to my shop once a month now, if that. Once every other month, maybe. But yeah, most of my books I get from Kickstarters and buying off of people's websites. Just to finish on my list, I just remembered a couple other ones. There's a book called Crescent City Monsters.
Yep, heard of that.
Amazing book. And then the other one is called Above the Clouds. That started off as a web comic, and that is a fantastic book.
Okay. So you're not reading the new X-Men stuff? No?
Mm-mm.
Did Love Affair just die just like that?
I don't know what happened. Okay. When I got out of high school, I got into college, money became short because I got kicked out of my house and I had to start paying my own bills. So my love affair for comics was there, but I just did not have the funds to buy comics. So I got into professional wrestling, which I was a fan, but I was just really into. This was right when SmackDown started, so I started watching SmackDown.
Okay.
And then a friend of mine he found this wrestling studio or wrestling academy that was nearby, and he and I signed up to train to become professional wrestlers. And I did that for like 2.5 years, 2 years. And then I got into it maybe like 30s or something like that. I got back into it. So it was like a 10-year gap. I just did not buy any comics almost.
So you were, wait a minute, you can't just gloss over the fact that you wanted to be a wrestler.
I did. My trainer, I don't know if you guys follow wrestling at all.
I do.
But if you follow WWE, do you know who Johnny Nitro was?
Yeah.
My trainer was his first trainer.
Oh, really?
Here in Sacramento.
Nice.
He originally lived in Davis, California, and then he transported to Sacramento, started learning here. But yeah, I did that for 2.5 years, and that's when I realized two things. I hate pain, and I'm not good on the mic. So I was like, I'm a 5'7" dude. I'm not a high flyer. I don't like pain, so I can't do like hardcore stuff, things like that. And I'm not good on the mic. Why am I being a wrestler? There's a lot of requirements there that I just did not fit. I'm not athletic, so I was like, I need to stay away from this and just watch wrestling.
What was your? Yeah, I got to know, Brad. Same. What was your wrestling name going to be?
I had a wrestling name. It was actually El Negro Loco.
El Negro Loco. Okay.
And the reason why that was I was part of what's called the Lucha Libre Mafia. The leader.
Wait a minute! You just said you weren't a high flyer.
I know. This is why I told you it's a long story. I was part of a group called Lucha Libre Mafia. It was the leader of the group was called El Flaco Loco, which means the crazy skinny guy. He was a leader of Lucha Libre Mafia, but he did no lucha stuff. He did all ground based stuff. So one show, it was my debut show. He was like, "Hey, Kyrun, I want you to come on, but you're going to be my brother." Now, you got to understand, El Flaco Loco, if he's on Facebook, if you want to go check him out, he's on Facebook. At that time, he was about 120 pounds, 130 pounds, soaking wet type of thing. So he was very skinny, extremely pale. At the time, though, I was about 180, and this was when I was actually working out, so I had some muscles. And for anybody that's listening to a podcast, I'm a fairly dark individual. I know I look bright right here, but that's because I have a ring light.
A light on you.
But I'm fairly dark in real life, so the idea was I'm his half brother, El Negro Loco. So I came out for my first debut match was for the SPW Championship belt, and it was supposed to be El Flaco Loco wrestling for it, but I came out instead. Came out, got the crowd hyped to hate me because we were the heels. I was in there for 30 seconds, took a couple bumps, and then that was it. Petered out. That was my debut.
Did you like walk out? Like what happened?
Yeah, I got pinned, and then I just walked out. That was my debut.
He was like, "Nope, it's not for me. You guys be good. I'm out of here."
But I can at least say I tried.
You did.
There's millions of people that say I want to do wrestling, and I've never done it. And I can say I did. I trained for a year. I did the whole work as a security guy, quote unquote security guy that hold the wrestlers back. I did the referee, and I actually wrestled. So I can say things that some people can't say they did, even though they want to. Same thing for comics. A lot of readers out there would say, I wanted to be a comic. I did that.
Yeah, you did. I love wrestling. And there was a point in my life where I was like, could I? And then I remember the show Tough Enough came on. It was right around it. I promise you, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember, I think it was like Triple H. He was like chopping the hell out of this one guy.
Oh yeah, that the chops are not fake in any way. That is a straight slap to your chest.
I forgot who it was. It was a smaller dude, and I just remember afterwards, it was like you could see indentations on his chest, and I was like, dude, he would cave my chest in. Yeah, this is probably not for me. I'll just stay watching this thing.
Yeah, I've taken a chair shot to the head and to the back. I've gone through a table as practice. I've gotten the chops. Like I remember when we were doing practice, and we actually had to do practice of taking a chop, because you have to take it, but then you have to sell it. And I remember the dudes in front of me, they were all like, "Oh, this hurts like hell," and they were actually selling it well.
Right.
I took that first chop. I was like, nope, not me, sir, not me. I was like, my name is Kuta, damn it. I'm out.
You know what though? I would love to be a manager, but even managers take bumps and everything like that. I think I'd be a pretty good heel manager. I think I could do it.
You can still do it.
I'm 40. There's no desire in my body to take any bump.
I realized that when I was, I was 20, 21. And as I realized, I was like, I take enough bumps for my life. I don't want to do anymore.
Nah, I'm good.
And it was cool because this was right when my wife and I started dating. So it was one of the first few dates that we had. So I got to impress her by getting into a wrestling ring and showing off. So after that, she was like, "You ever doing that again?" Nope. Nope. Did I impress you? Yeah. Okay, good. Let's go get ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is greatness.
So that's a great segue.
Thank you.
I got one more question before we do the top 5.
All right.
So you are married.
I am.
I've seen pictures of your lovely wife and your lovely family.
I'm scared of where this is going.
I was just gonna say, how do you balance? Like, I don't know if I'm assuming this isn't your full-time job, or is it?
No, this is my full-time thing. Making comics is my full-time thing. But
so how do you balance like your work life and your family life?
I'm lucky now that all my kids are in school, so I get them up and ready for the day. I make them breakfast. I drop them off at school, and then when I come home from about 8:30 to 2:00, it's just me time. So I just focus everything on my comics, whether it's writing, art, production, whatever it is. That's all me time. And then when they come home, I'd split it. I'll do like half the night. I'll stay with them, find out about their days, make dinner, and the other half I'll do whatever else I need to do. So the first couple of years when my youngest son wasn't in school was probably the toughest, because he was 4 years old and he constantly needed attention because it was just me and him here at home. But once he got into preschool, half the year was fine, and then the pandemic hit. And so it was like a year and a half that I had 3 kids in here just running around using up my bandwidth. And then at the tail end of 2020, we had my sister-in-law and her 3 boys living with us. So we had 9 people living in my house, plus 3 dogs. 3 dogs. And then her dog had puppies. So we had like 10 dogs altogether, counting the puppies. So during that period of time, I just was not doing anything because there was just no space, no time or anything.
Yeah.
So when school started opening up, my production skyrocketed. Yep. I was like, I can focus on me. And I feel like if I was doing this on the side, along with working a full-time job and taking care of my family, I probably still could do something, but the quality level would not be there, and the amount that I'm producing would not be there. What's up, buddy?
It's funny, your kid just coming in, my kid's talking to me from over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that. I'm very, I don't get to put out my books as often as I do because there is a split between the full time and the comics. But at least I tell a lot of people, like, when you're dealing with like a creative person, if you're in a relationship with a creative person, you got to be understanding that this is something that they want to do.
Yeah.
And if you try to stop that, it's not going to go well for you. So it's a good thing that, you have a wife that seemingly, I'm assuming,
No,
is
no,
supportive of you and can,
she was
have
one
your
of the
back.
first people to say, try it. And she was one of the most supportive people that throughout this entire thing. She was the first person to say, quit your job and try to make this work out. We're going to do this for a few years. We'll make it work financially somehow, but quit your job and we'll try to make it work. And then if it doesn't, then you can go find something. That was supposed to be, I think my cutoff date was like 4 years. No, it was 2 years ago. But then when the pandemic happened, we were like, well, I can't really not do it now because there's no
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I envy that. I do. My wife is not. My wife supports the comic, but I was like, I gotta keep a job. I got benefits. I gotta, I gotta keep doing that, and I'm good with it. But I've always told her, there's a point where I'm gonna step away and do this full time, and by the grace of God, I hope to get there. So I admire the fact that you're able to do this full time and you're able to follow your dream. Before we do top five, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, my everybody always asks me like what my goal is with these comics, and I know some creators are like, my goal is to get my comic turned into a movie or a TV show. It's like, no, my goal is, I know I'm gonna make it when I can tell my wife she can quit her job if she wants to. That's why I was telling my. That's why I know I've made it successfully. When I
Yeah.
can tell my wife, "Hey, do you want to quit? You don't have to, but if you want to, go ahead."
Yeah.
And she's always said, "All right, when we get there, we'll get there. But for now, I'll back you whatever you need." So, and I think you need that as a creator if you have a
Yeah.
family. If you don't have anybody that's supporting you, not just financially but mentally more than anything, you're not going to be successful because
Yep.
they're gonna put so much burden on you and so much doubt and
Mhm.
it's just you're just not going to be able to be creative.
Yeah, you're right. Before we get in the top five, Jamari, did you want to give a closing
I
question?
just wanted to say that, I don't have the problem of children. So I've put out, 6, 7 comic books in the last month in my mind.
Nice.
Very
Can we get
productive.
those in
No,
digital in any way? I want to read them.
but it all, I find it commendable that both of you are able to pull that off and to find that balance. I know that's something that Javon has had a bigger interest, especially since we've started doing this show. He's had that conversation with people like yourself, where it's like, where do you find that balance? What's your routine? All of that stuff is very interesting. And like, as an aspiring creative, I'm just like, I don't see how y'all do it, but it's good to see.
It's just once you find, at least I'm going to speak for me, and then Kyrun, I'll let you do that because that's a very interesting. I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I don't think I can do it, but once, like for me, once I sat down and started, like forget finishing the book. Once I sat down to start, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one page. And then once I finish that one page, okay, I can do another page. And then do another page and then another page. By the time, if you just keep starting, you eventually will finish. And then once you finish, like once I finished my first book, I was like, okay, I can do another one. And then, it's just taking that first step, and you just forget trying to figure out how it fits in your life. Like, okay, I got 20 minutes or I got an hour. Like, I'm going to take an hour to work on this. Like, this is my hour to work on this. And it's just like doing it. And it just sounds really simple, but sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world. For me, it's just like doing it, because for years I said I wanted to do comics for years. And I would like flirt with it and then back away, because I got too busy or whatever. But once I sat down, if you make up your mind and you kind of find that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this thing. And it's a very simple thing to say to yourself, but once you say, I'm going to do this, like, I don't care what anybody else says to me or what else happens in life, I'm going to do this and I'm going to finish it. But anything you want to do in life, like that to me was like the moment when I said, this is going to be done. And then once I got that sense of fulfillment for finishing my first book, the drives just was like there, and you just ride the wave.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Kyrun.
No. It's the same thing for me. I would also say you need to have people behind you that, and not necessarily family, but friends that are going to tell you to keep pushing yourself. And you don't need to have yes men that tell you your stuff is great. You need to have people that tell you to keep going. Being around other creative people have helped me so much in just doing something. Because there are times where I'm sitting there and I'm drawing a page and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is I'm emotionally, I'm drained. I'm creatively drained. And then I'll go and I'll talk to my friend who's a comic book artist, and he'll be like, dude, shut up and draw. I'm like, all right, I'll go back and draw. And it's not that I want to, but now I'm drawing again. Now I'm refreshed. It's that idea that this person here tells me I can do this. That pushes me. This person here that's telling me, hey, you're pretty good. Keep pushing yourself. It's those outside voices that you need to just replenish that creativity. Have you ever had anyone steal your drive? Oh,
you can answer. I answer after you.
I don't think I've had anybody steal it completely, but I've had people to cause me to question my drive, to question why I keep doing it, to question why I'm even attempting it. I've had people do that. Both family and outside people have done that for me. I don't think I've anybody had it steal it completely, because I feel like my drive is just, it's unstoppable sometimes.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, I'm very like, and I've told this not story, but I've talked about this before. I'm a very competitive person, and I'm also very defiant and hard-headed, if you didn't know. And so when I've had people tell me, you're not going to do it, or you can't do it, I mentally remember, it like burns into my brain. So every time I finish a book, in my mind, I'm literally going up to that person and being like, what were you saying? Oh, yeah, you're saying that I'm going to do it. Oh, okay, it's done. All right, cool. But my drive is too insane to steal. But I have had people say, your art sucks, or, you'll never have a comic book. I had somebody tell me that I would never have a comic book out. I think about it every time I draw a page. I know it's like, but I've always taken inspiration from like Jordan, and I know he's gonna hate this, but like Tom Brady, like those two guys take whatever perceived slight that it could be totally made up.
Yeah.
But it will fuel them to be like, okay, so I'm gonna get this, and even like, I'll see Kyrun. Oh, Kyrun put out StarCore. Oh man, let me go sit at my drawing table and do strong. Hello. Hi.
That's my oldest. He's like super tall for some reason.
What's good, man? What's good? Oh man, you got old kids too. Me too.
I have a almost 19-year-old son.
I've got 18-year-old stepdaughter.
Yeah. Do you want to hook them up? Because I'm ready to get rid of mine.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Okay. I'm trying. I'm trying to get rid of my kids.
Okay. No. Okay. That's all right.
I'm okay with arranged marriages. I'm just
all right, let's do. I don't want to hold you because I know you got dinner. Let's do top 5.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Top 5. I was gonna go a lot of different ways with this, but since you do have a love for X-Men, and you weren't on, what the heck?
Wow.
We're just going to block user.
Look at the username. That's just crazy.
Really?
And how do I get rid of this?
I don't know.
Apparently, people have nothing else to do. But okay, cool.
That's just
Wow.
not cool, buddy.
Whoa.
What's going on? And we getting spammed? Is that what's happening?
No, that's your.
Yo, that's your night bot. That's your
Yeah.
Add to block list in restream chat. Yeah, there we go. Wow, just terrible. What the hell?
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
No. Don't worry about it. That ain't you. Oh, we lost Jamari.
Dang.
Yeah, we don't know what that was. That was weird as hell. All right, real quick.
Did you just block Jamari? Is that what that was?
Oh, I saw that.
All right, real quick. Since I don't think you were on the top 5 for this one, so we'll give you a chance. Top 5 X-Men in no particular order.
Okay, wait. Are we talking about my favorite X-Men or just like power-wise, who's the strongest?
Top 5 favorite X-Men.
Okay. Number 1 is Cyclops. Number 2 is Nightcrawler. Okay. Number 3 is Storm.
Okay.
Number 4 is Havoc. And number 5 is Multiple Man.
Wow. That's interesting. So you were a big fan of X Factor.
Oh, yeah.
With Peter David and the government version.
Yep.
Okay.
Larry Stroman.
Larry
Stroman. Joe Quesada. Yeah.
Yep. I got that run right there. I got that run. Jamari, top 5 X-Men.
I'm gonna let you go.
Oh,
I gotta catch mine.
I'm just gonna let you know that Wolverine would have been at the bottom of my list, no matter what.
I don't like Wolverine. I'm not a big fan. Okay, let's see. Top 5 X-Men. Favorite X-Men. Cyclops, of course. Storm. Favorite.
How are you not going to have your list already ready, and this is your top 5?
Gambit, because I did a different list for the top 5 we did. It was like top 5 best. Gambit, Sync, and Cannonball.
Okay. All right, I guess.
I don't know why. I like Cannonball.
Cannonball has the weirdest power to me.
He gets to fly, man. I like flying.
But the way it's designed and supposed to be, he should be one of the most powerful X-Men characters.
Yeah, he beat up Gladiator, bro.
I know, but they don't play him out like that way.
I know.
They make him so weak.
Yeah.
It's like as he's flying, his shield is indestructible. Nothing can touch him through that shield. But every time he does something, it's like, oh, I can't fly.
Now I'm vulnerable while I'm blasting. Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah. I still like him. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Jamari?
Number 5, Gambit. Number 4, Iceman. Always been a big guy. Honestly, Iceman probably should be 3.
Why do you say his name like he's Jewish? Iceman.
Wait, isn't he Jewish? No, it's Kitty Pryde's Jewish. Kitty Pryde's Jewish. That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Nightcrawler is number 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, Colossus. Always like Colossus.
Okay.
And then, of course, Storm, because I'm betting on black.
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
It's one of these things where it's like, at first, I didn't know if I was going to like Storm, but as time has gone on, and I've gotten older and like.
Everyone likes Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
There's really nothing not to like of Storm, honestly.
I know, right? So, before we get off.
We wouldn't let her stay married to T'Challa, but, you know.
Yeah. We're not going to get into that. I don't want to get frustrated.
They've had her married to a few people. She was married to Forge once, wasn't she?
No, she
had a relationship.
That's who I was trying to think of. Forge.
Yeah. She had a relationship with him, and then they've hinted at her and Wolverine, her and Gambit.
I hated that.
I'm like, yes.
So, do you have anything before we go? Do you have anything you want to tell people that's coming up?
Down the line, I have Saw the Lightning Wielder issue 4. That's actually in production right now. I'm working with our friend Danny J. Quick on possibly a book in the future. We'll see how that goes. I am right now. I'm actually seeking out an artist to do a book called The Night Skin Chronicles. Which, if nobody knows what night skin is, that was a derogatory term that somebody created on Twitter a few months ago as a way to make fun of Black voice actors who voice anime characters.
Okay, didn't know that.
So there's and it was stupid, but somebody like on TikTok said, "Hey, let's just take night skin and make it our own thing." So there's been a couple people out there that have done like videos of their night skin characters, but I want to do a whole. Actually, I want to make it into a manga series and see how that goes. So I'm
Nice.
in the beginning stages of that right now. But that's what's coming up hopefully this year.
Awesome. So we want to thank you for stopping by. As always, this was fun. We'll definitely have you on again when you have another project coming up. Just let me know.
Cool.
Just holla at me. Say, hey, I got a new book coming out.
To talk about more adventures in wrestling, or
I want to learn about your
things on Twitter.
Your feud with Triple H.
I wish.
But yes, thank you for stopping by. And everyone who's joined, as always, you can go to visuallystoked.com for all things Javon. Every comic that I have, but you can go right now at the link below to the Kickstarter and get you some strong right there. Am I doing it? Wait, there it is. Boom, right there. We got 19 days to go, folks. 19 days to go. And we're 50% there. But anyway, let's see. Next week, we have hip-hop artist, poet, songwriter, and educator Bomani Arma. I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be really good. Next week, June 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And as always, thank you guys for stopping by for some creative talk with creative people. Have a good evening and go Celtics.